Oh yeah, we fishing. One sec. No volume if my just my stuff. Oh, we ready for some Witcher?
The Witcher's contact in Velen was to be Hendrik, the Emperor's spy. Hendrik was operating incognito
I don't
in that
care.
ravaged land. His mission to gather
The fishing should work here too, by the way. Fishing is forever now. It's loading forever. All right. One sec. There we go. I don't remember what I was doing. Okay, let's see. Oh my goodness, I see ocean. Let's see. West. What was I doing? Why does my map no? Okay, we'll do this one, yes. Which is, I assume this way, we're just literally telling me to go. Oh wait, Roach, I forgot I had a horse. Roach.
Go, go.
Move, Roach! Alright, go. I still got that head on my horse too, which is kind of triggering. Stupid little mouth is just open. I think we're gonna risk going down the hill. Surely nothing will attack me, right? Oh, like... This looks kind of sussy. What do you guys... Oh my god, I almost ran him over. I'm so sorry. I need to pay attention. Oh, Roach is tired.
Faster.
This way. Why do I feel like it's taking me not the right way? I'm sure it is. Okay, it is. Never mind. I lied. Hendrik. Oh god, you scared the shit out of me. Alright, let's see. What's going on here? Hello? Where are your clothes at? Oh my god, bro is tatted. Hello? If I loot, are you guys gonna get mad? Is
Not
that
another
banded?
step, or there'll be one corpse more.
What's going on?
What are you doing?
What one does in the country. Harvesting. Just switched from wheat fields to battlefields.
Corpses look fresh. Some of these men still alive a bit ago, right?
Aye, they were. Wounded but breathing. Healer could have helped them. But no healers around. Just us.
Yeah, just thieves and murderers.
Your ploughing's starting to annoy me, and I don't like being annoyed.
Do you like being on fire? Cause, when I remember how to do it, yeah. Alright. Get him, Geralt! There's no way out! The music's kicking. Oh yeah, look at this banger kicking in. Burn!
Damn.
Alright, we got it. It's been a while since I played. Give me a second to remember all the mechanics. Oh shit! Oh shit! Yeah. Oh shit, Geralt, move! I'm so stupid, Geralt! Oh, it's okay, we got it. 1 second. Come here. Burn! You can't block if you're burning! Oh, you hit me! I blocked that. That's not fair. Get out of here. Oh, you bastard. Alright. I'll give him a second. Yum. You're gonna burn, bitch! Ah! Ooh, put that fucking shield down, you piece of shit. Fight me like a man! Oh, Lord, Geralt! No. No. Put that shield down. This isn't fair. Fight me one-on-one. Oh, fight me one-on-one! Ah! Let's see. Water? Bro, if you don't fuck off. Oh, that's the wrong one! Oh, actually. Got him! I need to, like, there's gotta be a oh, there it is. Magic trap, protective shield, fire. Okay. I couldn't remember what, this one and this one did. And now what are all the buttons again? Oh, Geralt, meditate in the road. Alright. Wow, garbage. Ugh. Ew, is he like twitching? Oh, what is wrong with this head? Ooh, chicken. Nice. Fish. Apple. L smoker. Okay. Roach. I don't remember how to call you again. I know you're right there, but... G? No. Oh, this is what happens when you don't play a game for a while, huh?
Giddy up.
Alright, let's go finish our mission, maybe.
Come on.
Kinda sus. Go, Roach, go! You can do it! One little rock is not going to hurt you. This way. We should be there soon. Play! Oh, snowy!
Air's strange. Like dropping into a deep cellar on a hot day.
Oh, snow's
The
not a good
mist.
thing, huh? I didn't mean to eat that. I don't know why I'm like R for reload. I don't even have a gun. I don't know what I'm doing.
Village wasn't plundered. Hut wasn't looted. These weren't raiders or thieves.
Hard. 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 Yeah! Happening over here. Yeah! Oh shit! Get him, Geralt! There you go. Ah! I thought I killed you. What's up, brother? You good? What's up, brother? Wait, can I do the...
Be gone! Leave
What's
me
up,
be,
brother?
whoever you is! Get away!
Ew, dude, I just saved you.
Calm down. It's over.
Calm down. You good, dude?
Aye, it's over. All's past, never to be restored. I'll not forget that ever.
Walking in puddles?
Looking for a man named Hendrik, supposed to live in this village.
Aye, he did. No longer. They nabbed him in that hut. If you'd have heard the cries,
Oh, I remember this.
if you'd have heard how a man can
Lately.
scream, how he can suffer.
Tell me what happened.
Tell me what happened here, step by step.
They took him all.
Oh, okay, what? I need to see his
The
feet.
sun was waning, see, and the dusk went crimson like blood. Thought to myself, strange, the toads, I cannot hear them.
What do you mean? They didn't even do anything. Oh my god, is it the Wild Hunt? Oh, that's okay. They bring the snow with them. That's why it's snowing here. Bro needs a smoothie. It's the White Walkers from Game of Thrones. Oh my god, it's the little generals. Da, 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 da,
There,
da,
save
da, da.
terror through
Oh,
and
fish?
through. Hendrik screamed, then he begged. By the end, he could do naught but moan.
Oh, look at that. Nice. Fishing while these people are burning to death. What the? Nice strange vase, dude. Oh. What the fuck?
Weren't here long, the terrors. Yet the village froze like in the heart of winter.
You in that hut when they rode off?
No, and I'll not set foot there. Never.
Why'd they leave
Farewell,
you alone?
and peace of mind to you.
Bro's shaking in his boot. Excuse me. Aw. Gotta flex some Witcher
Just
powers.
wonderful.
My nosy. Oh! He got that
Tortured him.
crop top, the belly shirt on.
Maybe they missed something. Should check his boots.
Let's save his trousers
Blood
for last.
congealed. Key hidden in his boot.
Oh, we
Gotta
just
fit a keyhole. Somewhere nearby, hopefully.
okay. I guess I got the right one. Okay, straight. All right. Didn't even have to look in his pants. Boot ladder. Oh my god! Look at that big cheese wheel.
There's a draft. Gotta be a
Yeah, where's my
space under
full?
this rubble.
Where's the full loaf of bread to go
Guess
with
I
it?
should do some cleaning.
I bet it's around here somewheres. Let's see. That's there. It is right there, right next to it, covered in snow. Big loaf of bread. It's a criminal that I can't just like grab it and take it with me. Garlic. I got the key. Unlock it, Geralt. Geralt, unlock it. I'm standing on top of it. Geralt, unlock it, please. Geralt, you have the key. Unlock it. Oh, you got me fucked up. Oh! There was a ladder. Tamara Stranger? Ooh, money!
Unlocked, on display.
Money.
Almost lost his
Oh,
mind.
the finished fish. I gotta light everything on fire, flex my Witcher powers. There's gotta be more in this room. Ain't no way. Just money, straight up, nothing else. Candle, another candle, the poster. Ooh. Loot. Aww. Get up there, Geralt. Okay. Sir? Search. Okay, I'm searching using my Witcher senses. My Witcher senses are tingling. They're tingling. Close the door again. What did I miss? Oh, fall down, Geralt. Okay, Witcher senses are tingling. Do I need to grab this? Back. Is there something? Oh! Oh, hidden door! Oh, Carol, what? Punching it's not gonna do anything. Let's see. Ard maybe? But which side? Let's just try it. Oh! Bitch! Is that what I said? Geralt! Yeah! Okay, in here? Art. Am I fucking stupid? Am I supposed to be outside? Why punch, Geralt? Why punch? Rope. This rope, maybe? What if I burn this rope? Yeah! Don't worry, guys, I'll get it. There was like a noise, but I figured maybe it would be behind the walls, but I don't see anything. That's the door. I looked in here. Maybe there's something upstairs I missed. No, see, I saw that, but that's right outside. What the fuck? Am I stupid? Okay, the poster I already looked at. I am stupid!
Interesting.
Ay, ay. Then up. Okay.
A ledger. Payment for a sack of grain. Amount due for a charcoal shipment. Hendrik was masquerading as a merchant. What's this? Notes among the ledger entries. Clever. Interesting headings. Missing and wanted. Subject appeared in Skellige. Also cited in Novigrad.
Skellige.
Appearance unchanged. Ashen hair. Scar on her face.
The theory?
Avoids contact with others. Drunken swine. So-called baron hosted subject at his castle. Or should I say, illegally appropriated fort. Reason unknown. Talked to baron at Crow's Perch. Clashed with a witch. Subject landed in swamp. Encountered a witch. Conflict ensued. Cause unknown. Find the witch. Talk to the peasantry. Village of Midcopse. Caution advised. I'm being observed. Don't know by whom or why. Unsettling signs. Dog ran off. Water in bucket froze solid. Strange glow observed in the sky. Ill omen, peasants say. Somehow they learned Hendrik was looking for Ciri. Thus the torture. I'm too late. My only leads.
Great,
the
don't mind my
Baron,
hand. I'd
some
scratch my
witch.
face.
Damn.
Damn. Alright, girl, get out of here. There's nothing else. Hurry up. Oh my. Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all here. God damn it! Stop eating, Geralt! Just want roach. All the doors. Oh no, not all of them are frozen. Yeah. Let's see. Yummy, yummy loot. Oh my goodness gracious, why did that happen? Oh, little doll. Water. Always welcome. I'm not gonna grab trash. Tea? Who knows? Oh my goodness gracious, I'm not reading all this. Oh, is this about the witch, maybe? Buried in the bog. Oak atop ardent serpent. Or a ghost creature. Some sort of creature. Let's see. That's just garbage. I ain't gonna loot that. Roach! You stay right there. Let me make sure there's no more doors I can open. Rose probably still chilling in here. Oh, my bad. I won't steal all your food, I guess. I'm not that mean. What about this house? Yup. Open. Man. Give me some good loot. I don't want to grab just a bunch of garbage, because I don't know next time I'm going to get to a city. Key required, huh? Is it though? Okay, it is. Is there a back door? Oh, there's nobody in here. Come on. Let me in. And I was already in this one. Yep. Alright, well. Oh no, I'm stuck at the door. There we go. Go to the Baron's castle, huh? Okay, where are we right now? We're over here. And there's literally no teleporting thing, so let's go make our way over this way, huh? Uh-oh. This way, Roach. Oh. Get around. You're okay. That's a fence.
Go, go.
Go, go. Wait, let me check this house first, Roach. Never mind. Oh, well. I'm already off my horse, might as well look. Whoa. Hello? Were you hiding in the tree? What the? Oh my god, there's a bunch of naked people in the woods! Ah! Wait. Oh shit! Dodge! Ooh, yeah. Oh my god, I thought he threw a fishing rope at me. Okay, is there one more? Okay, we're good. We're chilling. I thought one of them was trying to fish me, and I was so concerned for like 1 millisecond there. Let's see. Yeah, sure. Roach. I didn't even have any good loot. In here, maybe? Water. Aww. Man. Alright, let's go, Roach. This way.
Come on now.
Leaves are stressing me out. Go fast. Bro! I don't know if I even wanna. Alright, let's do it. Oh, I'm in the tree. Thank you, Roach. Oh! Oh! Get some pants. Looks like you're not wearing any, idiot. Ew, he's stinky. Why is he stinky? Okay, you're next. You're next. You're about to die, brother. Stop shooting at me. Ooh, okay.
Come on.
Bye! The music is scarier than the people running at me sometimes. Got my heart beating. Bistek. Yeah, look at that guy. Slay. Get some better pants, idiot. These guys are running around half naked. Oh, I'm on a wall. Classic. Witcher v wall. Razor. I'll take those fish. Ooh, cool. Uh-huh. That sword can stay there though. Yeah, let me in. Ooh, a fancy little place. What are these? Ugh. Water. Oh, honey. Yum, yum, yum. Okay. Roach. Roach. There you are. Yep. And check the map and over here now. Yeah.
Faster.
Go. Wrong way. Up over the ledge. Oh, oh! All right, move, Roach. Okay. When? Yep. And then we're gonna go. And now let's fight. Ew, ghouls! One at a time. All right, come on. Yep. Yeah. Oh, they strong. They a little strong. Come here. Oh, you bastard! Oh, I couldn't dodge in time. Thank God I did that. Come back. Little bastards. Yup. Ooh. Woohoo! Yup. Nope. Oh, my sword's falling apart! No, it's the worst time! Please! Oh. Okay, just last a little bit longer, sword. Please, I'm begging you. This might have been very, very bad. Chill, brother. Oh, that was the wrong one. Oh, I'm sorry, Roach. Come back, please. I'm gonna die. Please, come back. Okay. I do need to fix my sword, though. Wait, maybe I have a better sword in my inventory right now. Please, 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 please. Steel. 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 Bruh. Okay, wait. Bitch! I'll get it. It's okay. We got it. Okay. Now, fix. Please! Oh, it's an armor repair. Oh, I'm so stupid. Let's see, what do we got? Okay, well, power might. Ooh. That's not good. That's not good at all. How many of them are there? Well, of course, it's not going to show here, huh? 1, 2, 3? I think I could take on 3 if I'm careful. Do this. And then if I just slowly, just one of them, just get one of them, and they... Ah! Geralt!
How long long you gonna make me wait?
Okay, it's okay. You're okay, girl. You're okay. Get this one. Slowly but surely, we'll do it. I believe in you, Geralt. Come here, come here. Oh, he's so close. Okay, there's one. One. Okay, Quen. Yeah. Igni. Okay, next one. One at a time. Get him. Okay, yeah. Ooh. Okay. Slowly, we're good. We're okay. Just the one. No, just the one, please! One at a time! I'm begging you, get in line! Okay. Ew, why do they sound so crunchy? Oh, I missed! I'm scared to look at my health. Oh, please, Carol, I'm begging you. They're not coming. Okay, they're over there. We're good. Carol, you Oh my, okay. I need a second. Everything. Got me shook to my core. We're gonna meditate. Alright, now we're gonna go beat the shit out of these guys. Once I figure out where I was again. Hello? Oh, there we go. We're good. And then after I beat these guys, because I really just want to finish this thing here. Oh my god, I blew him up. Oh my god, okay. I have the protective thing on me right now, right? Run!
Ghoul nest. Ought to just destroy it.
I learned from the first time almost killing myself. Okay, ghoul nest, huh? Ghoul nest. Grape shot, summum, or dancing star bomb. Okay, can I just straight up make one right here? If I have the stuff for it? Alchemy? Oh, look, I can make one. This. And then... should I run? Should I run? I'm running. Oh, Geralt, turn. Geralt, turn. Geralt, turn. Ooh, I like loot. Don't punch there, Geralt. Okay, Roach, we gotta go. I need to fix literally everything that is on my body right now.
Let's go.
Yep. Go towards the town. Fix my sword, fix my boots, fix my pants, fix my shirt. I'm gonna get fucked up over here, aren't I? Something tells me it's not really safe over here. Okay, hello? This signpost, I think we're good.
Slow now.
Hello? You guys are racist. I didn't even do anything. Who's the other one though? I want to read the other one. No, turn. Geralt, turn, Geralt! He killed them both. I'm calling it now, he killed them. And then he probably told everyone that I killed them. Hello, peasant. Why is the battle music starting? Why is there battle music? Hello? Is he supposed to get up and fight me? Am I getting shot? Hello? Oh, there you are! Yup! I gotta punch him to death!
You
Eat him!
can't
Eat him!
take this! You're a gunner!
Wait, can I just do this? Oh, god damn it! Okay, alright, dude. I gotta punch a shield. Oh, put the sword away! Put the sword away, Geralt! I didn't even do anything. I just arrived. Hello?
Please, be gone!
Oh, this guy told everyone I killed his family, didn't he?
Halt!
What?
Who goes there?
Geralt.
Baron home?
Not your concern.
Need to talk to him. Open the gate.
Not a chance.
We heard what happened at the crossroads.
We'll not let a man like that in here.
What did I do?
Won't get in that way. Gotta find another. Ought to look among the villagers. Might find one brave enough to help me.
Alright, let's go knocking. Hello? Hello? Okay. Hello? Knock, knock. Oh, okay. Chill. What about the guy that was smoking a pipe? He seemed pretty chill. I feel like he'd help me. Alright. Hello? Oh, what the fuck? Hello? I know someone's in there.
How about that? Takes a tired old man not to panic and run when I appear.
That's what I'm saying. He's the one. Help me, please, sir.
Greetings.
I'll give you
Greetings to you.
7
Other
tobacco
villagers all
pipes.
scurried off soon as they saw me. You didn't.
Oh, I'm too old to scurry. Besides, what could you do to me? Kill me? Go ahead. I've not long to live. Tan me hide? Wouldn't work. My skin's right brittle.
Lived here long?
Since I was born. Reckon that'll be more than 70 winters.
Must
7
know the area
years?
well.
Not bad.
Listen, I gotta get inside the fortress. Can I do that without going through the front gate?
Ye can, but few know the way. If you were to make an humble offering, call it, to this humble man, maybe I could point you in the right direction.
Whatever. I can afford 15.
Don't really feel like arguing with the guards.
Years back, when the old lord still ruled Crow's Perch,
I'm not about to
the
threaten an old
blacksmith's
man that
boy
was
went
super
missing.
chill with me.
whole village looked for him. No luck. Finally found the boy in the river. He drowned.
Tragic. But how's
my
that
God, did
supposed to
I at
help
one-
me?
A few days.
Did I actually send that tweet out? 1 second. I bet I didn't. Didn't. Classic.
On, an old woman who served the Lord found the boy's cap near the castle
Ooh,
well.
leg. 1 second. 1 second. close this. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And let's close this.
So, either he
There we
lost
go.
it there or he fell in the well.
Clever man. Village folk built a shrine where they found the lad's body, northwest of here. Wait till you find an entrance to a passage.
Oh my god, can that
nearby.
goat chill?
Shrine. Where is it exactly?
Track that weaves through the village. Follow it to the bridge. Turn right past that. Then
I just
go
got a
on,
goat in my
straight
right
as
ear right
this,
now. It's
till you get to a crossroads.
so distracting.
Turn right again. Then follow that path up a hill. Shrine stands upon it.
Right past the bridge, then right again.
Right
I'll find
past
it,
the
thanks.
bridge, and then right again. Right, 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 right. Roach, roach, roach. Right, right. Right past the bridge, and then right again. Right past, and then right again. This is right. Right past, and then right again. Bro, you got beef with
Slow
me?
now. Whoa.
What's up?
Halt! Stand and Jew! I challenge you!
Why this guy look,
Boots a
look
bit
like
big,
AJ Hawk?
maybe? Careful not to trip.
Halt, I say!
He's in all my
I am
games.
Ronvid of the Small Marsh, bound by a sacred oath.
Oh, that's rough. My sympathies.
To honor Maid Bilberry, fairest of all maids I know, by dueling 100 knights to the death. Now, draw your sword post.
Do you see my hair? Do you see my eyes? Do you really want to fight me? Why do you want to fight me? I'm a witcher.
Why are you challenging me? Don't recall doing anything to offend the maid Bilberry.
Well, why? Then swear. Swear! Maid Bilberry's the most loveliest of all.
Thing
Ooh,
is,
sea
I've
urchin.
never laid eyes on her.
Aha! Ah! I shall wash your scorn away
Gamba.
with thy blood fiend. Stand and fight.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention. I don't want to fight you. Wait. Listen, dude. Chill. It's not that serious. Go to sleep. Go, Roach. Bro, chill. I don't want to kill you. You're just a little simp. You're in my way. Right? And then right again. I don't want to beat his ass. Okay, I'll beat his ass. He convinced me. Come here. What are you gonna do against fire, sir? Y'all.
You know,
Ew, he shit his pants.
Had enough?
yes, luck stood with you. But the next time we meet,
Ew, he dookied. He shitted his pants in fear, bruh. Get out of my sight, you
Go
shitty
back to Maid
pants.
Bilberry and apologize for being an ass. Quick, before I change my mind and break your bones.
we shall meet again.
No, we won't. Get back in your fucking cabin. Right and then right. You got me fucked up. Right and right. Am I in the right spot? Roach, right and right. Come here.
Faster.
Right? Oh, wait. Right. Wait, was it? I went left. I went left and left. Oh my god, what is wrong with me? There's even a marker. I went left, left, not even right, right. Ooh. Ah, right. And then right. And then not right. Keep going. Go, 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 go. I need to, like, get somewheres where I can fix my shit, please. This way. Be close-ish, yeah.
That's it, Roach.
Alright, Roach. As long as there's no monsters around here, we should be chilling.
There's the shrine. Passage must be somewhere around here.
Oh, sorry, Roach, move, please. Oh, I'm stuck in a tree. Excuse me. Oh.
There it is.
Oh, I don't want to swim. Okay, dive. Yep. And up we go. Oh, rocks this way. This is really dark. I don't like this. Jump! You can do it. There we go. Oh, if I have to fight something in here, I'm gonna be fucked up.
Right.
Oh!
Must be close.
Ah! I can't see. She threw shit at me. Yep. Oh my god, you got me messed up. Oh, girl, chill. I can't see. Ooh. Oh, I can't see. Get her, oh. You nasty. Loot. I guess, yeah, look at that. Look at all the loot. Okay, dive. No. Oh my goodness gracious. It is so dark in here, I cannot see anything. Okay. I just went backwards. Oh, you're gonna do that to me. Okay, I feel like it's gotta be. How do I... Okay, dive? No, there's no holes, and I cannot see anything for the life of me. There, that's slightly better. Not amazing, but slightly better. I actually kind of see where I'm going. Let's see now. Ooh, no, that's not what I meant. Ooh. Yoink. Open. Geralt, open. Geralt, open. Ooh. Good loot. Okay, now it's a matter of how do I get over there? Maybe on the side. There's a little hole here. There we go. Oh, come on. Come on! Ain't no way, Geralt. Geralt. You got me messed up. You can fit. You're a skinny legend. just jump, Geralt. Up. There's no way he can't just swim over that one single rock there. Oop. I don't make sure I don't miss any loot. It doesn't really glow till I'm like really close to it. Oh, up. Oh. Oh, pretty.
Emphysema. Now those were balls. Attended a few, me and my Annie. Oh, how we danced, how we twirled.
Gonna grow charisma. Oh.
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Hey!
Enough. I don't care how you do it, but the deliveries must be weekly.
Won't you stay for tea?
No. Besides, you've another guest.
Aha! A defender of the downtrodden. Greetings.
News gets around quick.
That it does. When I learned you'd slaughtered my men, I thought to have you captured and hanged. Or at least flogged. But then I thought,
Can
one
try.
tough cocker if he bested that lot of cutthroats. Man like him could prove useful.
Useful for what?
Useful? How?
That's the spirit. We'll
mm-mm.
work well
Doesn't
together.
mean I want to work
I can
what,
see that already.
Phil. Doesn't
This
mean
way.
I want to work with you.
One thing. You do well to behave this time. Remember, I've still to decide what to do with you. Which I shall do after we've spoken.
Oh my goodness, I can't
Make
stop
yourself at home.
yawning.
Hey, where'd I put the bloody vodka?
Up your
there
butt.
it is. A snifter.
No. No, thank you.
No thanks.
I was
Didn't
trying to
come here
poison
drink.
me. I don't even want to help you.
But I'll not sit here dry if you don't mind. Before the war, there was a distillery nearby, best in Velen.
Bro, you spilled half of that shot.
Burnt it to the ground.
Oh my goodness, I cannot stop yawning. What is wrong with me?
To the matter at hand, I'm Philip Strenger. Now the blobtits round here call me the Bloody Baron.
Geralt of Rivia. Blobtits call me the Butcher of Blaviken.
I know who you
Blobtits.
are. Truth be told, it's the only
Blobtits.
reason we're talking. How do you like it here in Velen?
I don't know. I've been like chased. I've fallen down holes. There's monsters. Like, just get to your fucking
Didn't come here to
point.
talk
Please and
about the
thank you.
scenery.
You're wrong to avoid the topic. You've just arrived, plain to see. And the local swamps and bogs, they're interesting to say the least. Someone loses their way around here, he becomes damn hard to find.
What are you getting at?
You want me to find your wife and
Many
child?
have lost loved ones here. Some their wives, others their daughters.
Neither of these options are very good. Get to the
Get
point,
to
I
the
guess.
point already.
Ciri, that's why you've come, isn't it?
So she was
How do you
here.
know that name?
She showed up some time ago, exhausted, wounded, and stinking like a soaked hound after a hard hunt. Later, I learned she'd come from the swamp.
Oh,
Said some beasts from the woods attacked her before she could reach the village.
oh my God! It's the girl from Fortnite. Ooh. Hit the gwitty, Silly! Hit the gwitty! Oh, that must suck. Oh, being stinky and then falling in water and getting even more stinky and cold. Oh, I'm Siri! Oh.
That was close. I must leave this place.
It's just like when I play Fortnite. Look at her. Can I still grab leaves and stuff, or is it gonna take them away from me? Oh, why does the map look so low quality?
She needs help.
Yaw! What the hell? You see that text on the side? What was that?
You can come down.
Oh my god, don't jump. Don't jump! Oh, you're about to... Oh, thank you for the
Hello there.
follow.
Are you lost?
A little, I guess.
Oh my goodness, she
Are
is
you?
like... yeah, I'm lost too.
Yes. Though also just a little.
Does that mean you know which way to go?
Not quite. Not yet. But I'm sure we'll find the way if we set off together.
What happened to you?
Maybe.
This?
I don't really
It's
do
nothing.
follow for follow. But I appreciate it. I'll take a look at your account later. Where do you live?
Why don't you tell me where you live?
In Lindenvale. They'd see to your wounds there.
She's going to die a horrible death. Let me walk you home.
Not a bad idea. Come. I'll walk you home. And explain to your parents that they must
Maybe
not lose their children in the
wash
woods.
the blood off of you
Can't
first.
go home because of the Wolf King and his pack.
I'll protect you.
See what I've got on my back? Wolves fear it. Kings do too. Come. I'll help you up.
I love how we're both struggling to get up this hill. Gretka.
Wolves! Quick! Hide!
Ooh. Oh, Siri, you're OP. Oh. Oh, okay. 1 second. 1 second. Siri, chill. Woo. Oh. Okay. Wow, okay, give me a second. Oh my goodness, 1 second, I can't concentrate. My bad. You guys are level 5. I'm probably like 700 more times powerful than you. I can't even speak. Alright, there we go. Where's the little girl at?
You can come out now. Massacred. By something with immense claws.
Maybe stay behind me. 1 second. 1 second. Alright, lead the way. Also, I think there is a literal demon in here somewhere, so maybe chill?
There's something there.
Wait here. Don't come any closer.
But
No buts. Stay here. I must see something.
That little girl's way too chill for this. Leg. Hey.
Something tore his leg off. No, gnawed it off.
Ew, that's horrible.
Okay, I had the
Stay there
worst fishing day
and
the
look
other
away.
day. I literally got all trash. It was crazy.
What's this?
What's a little dancey
An
dance?
arrow's missing. Interesting.
Chest.
His chest is crushed. Ribs probably pierced his lungs.
He's so pretty.
Something picked him up and threw him against the tree.
Oh, I love you, Ziri. What about your belly?
Let's see. His liver's gone.
Why are you digging through his belly?
Would you mind making certain your laces are tied? Lips parted and bloated. Bit clear through his tongue. Immense pain before death.
Ugh, owie. That sucks.
Bloodshot, but still moist. He died recently.
Coming up.
The Wolf King's no fantasy, it seems. Except he's a werewolf.
Oh my god, her lashes are so intense that it's going through her hair.
He had a fall.
I bet. The Wolf King got him.
Yeah, I don't think she's that stupid,
When did
Ziri,
children
sorry.
get so smart?
What will we do when the Wolf King finds us?
Good question. I've no silver, but I can make a blade oil.
Oil? You mean like we make from rapeseed?
No, a far more special oil. Of dog tallow, wolf's bane, fool's parsley, and wolf's liver. The Wolf King will feel terrible, terrible pain.
You're smart. How do you know these things? Did your father teach you?
Not my father, my uncle, Uncle Vesemir.
Aw. Oh, sorry, sir. I didn't mean to walk on you. My bad. Okay, girl, chill 1 second. Let me just grab all these flowers and stuff. Yep. Oh. Go.
Hear that? Wolves.
Hide! Quickly!
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Again? Dude, it's true. That's insane. It's a sign! Yeah, your flowers are getting blasted tonight. Trout.
They're gone! You can come out! It's dead.
Turn. Yeesh. Oh yeah. Save aim. What did I set it to? F5.
Must
There
be
you
a
go.
human settlement nearby.
What I get, what I get, what I get, what I get. Ooh, barracuda. Alright, girl, chill. Give me a second to collect all the plants. Can I make it now?
All right, I have everything. Now for a spot where I can build a fire, brew the oil in peace.
What you doing?
Greasing my blade.
What you doing?
See just how effective Uncle Vesemir's formulae are.
The girl looks like she'd love to play Fortnite. She just got that face. Let her go! Let her go! Okay. Cute. Oh, that's me. Cool. this girl
Parents often
dies,
send their children out
I'm
to
going to
follow
be
the
so
streets.
upset.
Bellies all in blood. Clawed open. No wolves did this.
I didn't mean to cut off my question. Keep talking. Siri, keep talking, please. Oh, my bad.
This way, through the cave.
You lead.
Alright. Oh, watch out.
It's a bit dark.
Afraid?
Are you?
No.
Then I'm not either.
Oh, ew.
What?
The Wolf King, now do you believe me?
I do. Hide!
Oh. What is the girl doing in the bag? Ooh. Okay, let me. Okay. Save the dashes. Ooh, okay, we got. Oh, I dashed in him. Get back. Ooh, okay, we got it. I don't like this damage thing on the side. It's so weird. Okay, we all chill now?
Boy, you really give him a drubbing. Never seen anything like it.
Girl, you can come out now. Come on. You're lucky we came this way. Found someone far less fortunate in the forest.
Aaron, must be. We was returning from Midcops when the brute attacked. I managed to flee, but Yaren,
The little one. No details.
We must get to the village.
I have bandages at home. Some spirit. He laid a claw or two on me, unfortunately.
I've naught, miss, but my lord, he's a powerful man. He's sure to help you. Might even reward you for cutting the werewolf down.
Very well. Lead us to your lord.
Oh, yep. Big ol' meal of big cheese and big bread.
Just who do you think you brought me, man? That's not me daughter.
And the little one?
Neither, damn it! I think I'd know my own
Look at
child.
this eating.
Well, might not be yours, the older one, but you've got to admit the likeness. That's downright striking. So,
Oh my god,
any
this guy's about
chance
to
for
get
that
killed.
reward?
You'll not see one fucking copper. Get out before I set my hounds on you.
Siri, chill.
So, stew any good?
Very. Thank you. I'd not eaten in...
Clear to see. I'm pleased you like it. Had them prepare a bath for you once you've eaten, and you could do with some sleep. Gretka in the nook behind the hearth. You in the guest room opposite the kitchen.
Thank you.
Eat now. We'll speak once you've rested.
Where's Sussy? Oh! You couldn't fade to black?
So I ordered my men to watch her and left her to rest.
And?
She escaped.
Ah, a topic for another time.
No, a topic for now.
The little girl who showed up here with Ciri. What happened to her?
Gretka. She's safe and sound. Helps out in the kitchen. Ciri told me of the girl's parents, what they decided. So I decided not to send
They
her
sent her in the
home.
woods to die.
She's fed here. A roof over a warm corner she calls her own. She wants for nothing.
What happened to Siri?
I've told you already. A topic for
Oh my
another
god,
time.
I'm literally here for Siri. If you don't tell me, I
No,
swear to
a
God.
topic for now.
That's what I'm saying.
Talk.
Talk.
That sharpness. What's your tone, Witcher?
Bro, I could
Remember
ignite you right now.
Me butchered some of my better men.
Well, they
We
should have
wish to
came
come
at
to an
me.
agreement, do we not?
Take it you won't give me this information for free.
You want me to find your wife and daughter?
Sharp you are.
Question mark?
I regret your loss. Commiserate.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, it so happens my wife and daughter are missing as well. I propose an exchange. Find my loved ones, and I shall tell you about the girl you seek. All I know.
Sure.
Fine.
Whatever.
I'll help you. I'll find your family.
I'm not an
And you'll give me
asshole.
every
I'll
bit
find
of
his
information
family.
you have.
You have my word.
I want to
When
learn
did you
about
see them
Siri,
last?
whatever.
They vanished after the new moon, as if whisked away.
Oh,
by
they're werewolves.
shadows.
What do you mean,
Over. It's over.
vanished?
Yep.
Precisely that. I awoke one morn to find them gone.
What do they look like?
Can't start searching till I know what they look like.
Give me the posters?
Tamara, my daughter, turned 19
They're
in
werewolves.
the spring.
Ain't no way they're not
Slender
werewolves.
lass,
They
about yay
disappeared
tall,
randomly
comes up to
on,
my
like,
shoulders.
a full moon
Beautiful
night?
eyes, green like her
Okay.
mother's. My wife, Anna, has 2 winters behind her, though she'd never admit it. Dark hair, thick as tar, keeps it tied up in a bun.
I'm gonna ask this because I have to, but he's gonna be like, are you fucking stupid?
You try to search for them?
Sent men out right away, but they're not suited to it. It's one thing to rip up floorboards in search of a peasant's last sack of grain. Finding a living person, they just don't know how. Besides, Velen's naught but swamps and marshy woodland. Plenty of hard-to-find nooks. If you're looking to hide someone, this is the place.
Maybe they were kidnapped. Got any enemies?
None worth mentioning. Worthless little pricks and angry peasants is all. None would dare raise a finger against my family. Any who might have, they've been eating dirt long since.
Anything unusual happen before they disappeared? They act differently, do anything strange?
Unusual? No. Well, not long ago, peasants came to complain that a beast had ravaged a woman by the well. Devoured another lass before her. Common occurrences in Velen. And my women, Anna, quiet as a mouse as ever, and Tamara, occupied with her things. Nothing unusual.
What do you mean, things?
This place. Must be hard to be the only 2 women here.
This place? What do you mean? They wanted for nothing here. Pheasant for dinner? Not a problem. Blue ribbons from Toussaint? Say the word.
Had your men in mind. Their company. Sure your wife and daughter weren't being harassed?
My men are a horde of whoresons, but they know their place. One of them so much as looked at Anna or Tamara crosswise.
Hey dude, chill. I just
cut
have
him
to ask
down
these
like a dog.
questions.
I'll need to know a lot more than that. Can I see their rooms?
What for?
I need clues. Anything to latch onto.
Just
I'll
let
not
me
let
look,
a
dude.
stranger pour through their belongings.
Well, you can
Want me to
come
find them
watch
or
me,
not?
like, chill.
I do.
Then let me work.
Fine. But I shall go with you.
That's what I'm
The
saying.
doors are locked.
Whoa. Oh, hello?
When she was a babe, my daughter loved animals. Saw a deer trophy on a wall once. Do you know what she asked?
Haven't got a clue.
Papa, is that deer's wump on the other side of the wall? You see it there? Oh, what's a trophy? I pity any bastard who's hurt her. I'll flay him alive. Here it is.
Damn
it! Jammed again. Our bedchamber. Tamara's room is there.
Did bro just spit at me?
Try not to make a mess. For their return, I want everything to be as they left
Did you just spit at me? Chill. Ooh, this is a big room. Alright, let's see. Yeah, I don't... Did not mean to do that.
Incense. And an old key. Wonder what it unlocks. Anise. Sandalwood. And something else. Saffron.
Oh, a letter. Oh. Sorry, dude. Where is it? Letter. Letter. Really famous. I assume this is the bedroom. Let's see. Candy and a doll.
Damn ugly for a doll. The kind you'd stick with pins to hurt someone.
Oh, Geralt. Ew.
Damn ugly for a doll.
Oh,
the kind you'd stick with pins to hurt someone.
Casually jumping on the bed. You gotta go in something. What is this? Okay, follow the stink trail, I guess. I'll be right back. In the basement. Huh? Basement. Go, 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 go.
Well, bring out the gimp.
Think the gimp's sleeping.
Well, guess you just have to go wake him up now,
Stinky.
won't you?
Door. Open.
An altar. So, the eternal fires made it to Velen.
I should. I'm scared he's gonna like freak out at me. A prayer. Ooh, blue discus. Alchemy paste. Alchemy paste. Oh! Punch the alchemy paste. Grab one. Surely he won't miss one, right? Pile. Oh, oh, god damn it, Geralt. Stop punching the air. What is wrong with you? Relax. As long as they don't see me, right? He chilling. Not looking at me. Wire. Mug. Give me some food. I'm starving. Do you remember that that time I looted and then I threw myself off the bridge because two guys came at me? That's why I'm so stressed out about it.
Puke or not to puke, that is the...
Because I thought the same thing. And then they started coming at me with swords. I know I do. I have a broken sword. I gotta, like, when I'm done this area, I need to go to somewhere where I can fix my shit. It's been broken for so long. The second I leave here for any quest thing, I'm gonna go fix it. I think he's chill as long as I don't take anything from these rooms. If that dude doesn't stop
Wooden
whistling.
candlestick. Stem's broken.
Sniff, sniff. Girl, you weirdo. Oh.
Walls a different color. Something used to hang here. That painting?
No, I only have weapon.
Right
Not
size.
weapon. I only have armor repair kits right now. I don't have any weapon ones.
The Baron and his wife. Look happy enough.
Happy where? Oh yeah, move it. I got nothing to make
What's
me
this?
warm.
Gotta wonder who wanted to hide the hole. And what's on the other side. It gets interesting. Piece of wood looks like the stem of that candlestick. No
Okay.
coincidence there. Fight might have happened here. Ought to look for clues. Fresh flowers. He expects them to return any minute. Takes hope.
There's some big rooms. Let's see.
Rest of the candlestick. And wine stains. Somebody smashed a bottle. From Toussaint. Yeah, Herveloos. Scent hasn't died. Wonder where it'll lead me.
Alright, you weird ass. Let's stink 'em up. Smell the stink. And back to the basement we go, of course.
Damn, trail breaks off. Could find something else, though.
But this... Oh, look at that.
Spruce wood. Smells of juniper incense. Some sort of folk talisman. Protective. Question is, against what? Won't find much else here.
Sir, I am done looking around. Yeah, upstairs.
Done poking around?
Yep.
Recognize this amulet?
Yes. Anna began wearing it a time ago.
Any idea where she got it?
None.
Any witches or cunning women in the area?
A Pella.
Any
Coot
witches
lives
in the
near
area?
Blackbow. And there's a cunning woman in Midcops, but I know little about her. She's only recently arrived. If Anna were to see someone, she'd choose the Pella, not the woman. Anna was wary of strangers, newcomers.
What the fuck? It will let me fish. I want to fish. Somebody spilled wine on the
Whole
landing?
landing smells of wine. Tell me anything about that?
One of the lads, must be. Lushes, one and all.
Give your men Herveloos?
Oh, damn it. I might have spilled it. I told you I was good and marinated that night.
I got a grab.
Was it matter? Stench of wine in plenty of corn around the castle.
Grab.
Found signs of a fight in the room. Know anything about that?
A fight? What are you talking about?
Someone was attacked. Probably your wife or daughter. Whoever it was tried to defend themselves with a candlestick. Missed the attacker. Punctured the wall instead. They
You're also
tussled,
like
too.
a detective, basically.
I don't know nothing about this. That night, I was drunk. Don't remember a thing. They were gone by the time I awoke.
Yeah, he's a
Doubt you
detective.
were the only
Detective
ones in
Geralt.
the castle. Maybe one of your men heard something?
3 times I asked those
That must suck
bastards
to
if
have
they'd
like
seen anything, heard
enhanced
anything.
smell in
Nothing,
these
not a one of
these
them.
olden times. Imagine how stinky everyone is. Ugh, and there's like people shit outside and the horses and like all the animal shit. Ugh, gonna be so stinky.
Found a doll in Tamara's room. Tell me about it.
What could possibly be so interesting about a doll, Witcher?
Looks like it might have been used for some sort of black magic. Where'd Tamara get it?
Black magic? Are you balmy? I made it for her. She was 4, perhaps
Is that
5
why it looks like
winters old.
shit?
We were in Vizima on market day, and she saw the sorceress, Triss Merigold.
Triss!
Insisted she must have a doll just like her. Couldn't afford a thing of that sort, so I made the doll with my own
Aw.
hands.
It's actually kind of nice. I don't know. That doll looked. I don't know. She'll be upset. Should I be nice to him or should I just be straight up an asshole? Chris. I mean, that doll. Did the doll even have like red hair? I think it was. You tried your best though.
This is Triss. No offense, but not great with your hands, are you?
Harold, you
Why
asshole!
don't you take some wooden rags, see what image of a grown woman you can come up with?
Sorry, dude. My bad.
Fair warning, he's a hard man to talk to. Rumour has it he killed his own father with an axe as a lad, then went batty. Now they say he sees ghosts and ploughs his goat.
Not really interested in his hobbies. Just want to ask about the amulet.
Bro, stop spitting! Spitting in the house? Nasty. I can understand the shoes. It's the olden time. You probably get 7,000 diseases. But like spitting? Stop that. Gross men. Alright, can somebody please fix my sword around here? Oh, that's the wrong button. Holy moly. Over here.
What do you say we flog some pig?
Love to.
Love to.
What are you chopping? What did I do to deserve you?
Move!
Swift kick in the arse.
Two, please.
What's gotten into you?
How can I help you?
Interesting lilt in your voice. You originally from Skellige?
Ardskellig. Spent my whole childhood in Holmstein.
Why'd you leave?
Always had a liking for the smithy. I'd sit there all day taking things in. The heat of the furnace, the smell of the hot steel, the pounding hammers. At 17 winters, my dad told me he could teach me no more, sent me out there into the world, bid me to hone my craft. A few years on, I had my master crafting papers. Then the war broke out and I landed here.
What do you have in stock?
What are you selling?
If I play
What's
Gwent,
good?
I'm gonna lose and I'm gonna embarrass myself, so I'm not even gonna try. Ooh! Oh, that shit expensive. Sell. Sell. Goodbye, original clothes. Those are 1, 2. Honestly, that's probably better. And it is expensive, but like honestly, anything that kind of armor repair around there. It's what the I didn't have that before. I did not have that before. I swear to God, I looked. I did not have it.
Take care now.
What the fuck? I didn't have this before. That's some bullshit. That's some bullshit. Steel weapon, 49 to 61. So we're just gonna sell like all this shit and give me a new fit.
Looking for someone who can craft me some armor.
Ooh, fish
Gotta be
fillet
top
burger.
quality.
Yum 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 yum.
I've been at it 20 years now. Mastered the craft in some respects, if I do say so myself.
McDonough.
Don't listen to
McDonough.
her. She's been sore lately, snorting every chance she gets. So, what kind of armor are we talking about?
Light, but durable. Can't constrain movement, and I gotta be able to get in it without anybody's help.
That all? Sure it shouldn't be self-cleaning. And how about it wipe your arse after you take a shite in the bushes?
You're so funny.
Comfortable, strong, and light will do just fine.
ought to know one thing when it comes to armor. If it's got to be durable, it can't be light.
It can. Just needs the proper tools to make it. Tools like the folk of Clan Tordaroch used on Undvik.
Joanna, I told you time and again to stay silent when I talk
How
to
about you
customers.
stay silent?
Shouldn't
I want to
pester
hear the
folk with
woman
those
talk.
Nonsense Skellige legends of yours.
It ain't legend, and it ain't nonsense. My granddad would go to Undvik for his armour. Said Tordaroch folk made the best.
Oh my goodness
Till last year,
gracious.
that is, when a giant ravaged their island. Inhabitants either ran off or died, but the forge should still be in one piece.
Worth
One Piece?
looking into. Say I find the tools. Will you craft the armor for me?
On condition you bring the tools. But only then.
Bro got one tooth.
These legends mention where the forge might be?
Yes, north side of the isle, in a cave. Clanfolk carved out a rock face to build it.
Farewell.
Look for the
Oh my
tools next time I'm in
goodness.
Skellige.
Oh, I just stopped
Take care
yawning.
now.
What is wrong with me?
How can I help you?
What are you selling? What's good?
Yeah, I'm gonna... Oh my god, it's only worth 5 gold? You got me fucked up. That's some bullshit. Let's see. I do really love the look of his, like, original armor, but oh my god, is it shit. Headphones just die? Hello? No? Why'd the music cut out? Well. I hope you guys like silence. Cause I don't know where the fuck the music just went. Nice. It's me and you in the silence, huh? Yeah. Okay. I think that's all I can afford.
Take care now.
Let's see. Let's put this on. Ooh, green. All right. Some boot. Let's see. Chance to stun, sign, intensity, burning, chance to freeze. I can't put these on. Okay, let's put it on the. Oh, never mind. No? Only item which is. Okay, so I can't because it doesn't have a slot. Understandable. Understandable, I guess. Let's see. 72, 165. Maybe. Oh, wait, don't I have better gloves? Yeah. Switch those. 2. Resistance, 2, 2, 3, 1, 2. It has slightly better stats. We'll just keep it for now. And should be good. Alright. Let's see.
Boy, lads, fancy an outing to find that she-beast?
Been the Smiths, lass.
How
Gap-tooth
you?
one.
Got a bad idea. Nice tits on her.
Fancy a gander at our little stockpile?
Oh my god, I can play Gwen
Show
with
me
everyone.
what you got.
Show me what you got. Ooh. But I'm such a low level. What is this? Ooh, give me that. I don't care if it's all my gold. What's this? 320? Does he think I'm made of whatever currency this is? Oh my lord. Crafting. Okay, well, like.
See ya.
Bro thinks I'm made of money. Am I being too nice? Is that why I have no money? Grab them all. We got that.
You, white one. Think your two swords could take on 40?
You're pale as oaty shite.
Bro, you spoke to me. Wha- Monster hunts, huh? Hunting a witch. Siri. Witch. I don't have witch yet. No witch. Let's see. Ole mole. Let's see. Let's do this one. Ask the residents of Mid-Corpse. No, oh my lord, it's all the way over there. We're going on an adventure, everybody. We're gonna go take this road.
Time to water the horses.
I don't care, dude. Let's go, Roach. Yeah.
Hey-ya.
Hey-ya. Go. 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 Did my game just... My game just crashed. Okay. Thank you. Why? Why you do this to me? All the Are you gonna crash again? I swear to God. It lagged for 1 second there. Okay, like, what is with Geralt in the screen? He has, like, these scars, but he doesn't in the game. Is this some spoiler? Or, like, a DLC thing? Okay, that's what I thought. I'm like, why?
The Witcher's contact.
Now I gotta wait for everything to load again.
Spy. Hendrik was operating incognito in that war-ravaged land. His mission, to gather intelligence about Ciri.
Oh.
Yet Geralt arrived too late. The Wild Hunt had reached Hendrik first. The Witcher learned nothing from the spy's corpse, but the Wraiths had failed to find his notes. Geralt read them and knew that Ciri had been a guest of the Bloody Baron, a local warlord, and that she'd quarreled with a witch.
Ooh, why is there two? Did I get some good? Duck, duck, rule. Look at the little creature. An epic duck, duck, ghoul. Alright, luckily for us, it literally crashed while I was on my way out, so let's try and leave again and see if it'll let me. Roach! Here.
Whoa there,
Oh my
Roach.
gosh. Why am I... Why... Oh! Thank you for the follow. Something is going on with my game right now. There we go, we're good. Oh my lord, just let me play. Here we go. We're good. Roach? Go. Go, go, go. Sir. Roach! There's an invisible wall!
Offensive arse whooping.
You got a whole ass scooter. Alright, this way.
Go.
That was literally me the other day. I was fishing in someone else's chat and I got all garbage. Like, just legit all garbage. It was insane. I mean, that's the best thing. You can scoot away. Scoot away. Disappointment, you know? Did anyone have like a scooter when they were a kid? A kid? Wow, English. Did anyone have a scooter when they were a kid and then like you try to like jump on it and it would just like twist and smack you in the ankles? Do you guys remember those days? The pain of your ankles getting fucking smashed by metal. Good lady?
Feeble woman.
What's wrong?
T'other night blasphemers, pox taken, profane the shrine to
I was more of a rollerblading kid than a scooter kid, but I remember using my friend's scooter and just beating the shit out of my ankles. What's up, dude?
Warts
Let's
and
help.
mange? Sounds dangerous. Fine, I'll help you.
Fine, I'll help you. Carol, it's not you're like, it's not that serious. Oh my goodness.
Done.
There you go.
The good gods have sent ye to me. Someone to repair their shrines from this day on.
Look, already got a trade. I'm a witcher. Restoring traditional roadside structures in wood. Just not my specialty.
I just never break.
Like
That's the
needles.
solution.
That's
You
a
just
witcher's
never break.
calling.
You just
And
don't stop
vandals
going.
Are worse than beasts.
Fine. I see any damaged shrines, I'll take care of them. Won't go out of my way, though.
Nothing's out of the way in these parts, and the gods will guide ye.
I lived in like a military housing like neighborhood when I was younger, and I went down a hill once and I survived, and I was like, oh, that wasn't horrible. It was scary, but it wasn't horrible. And then I tried to go down a bigger hill. I did live, obviously, I'm not dead, but I did, it's a funny story. They were doing construction around that area, and there was like
fast, Roach.
tiny rocks on the road, and I tried to go down the hill, and a rock got caught in my rollerblade, and I fell on my ass, and I slid down the hill on my ass, and I slid down so fast that my pants tore and were just like flying out from behind, like underneath me. And then then I stopped roller skating for a while. But I was just like a hole in my on my like in my ass. You could just like, my shorts were just gone. It was crazy. Luckily it stopped with the shorts and I didn't hurt myself, but it was very scary. I think I switched to biking after that one.
Run, Roach.
Yeah. What are you guys looking for?
Not so fast, Roach.
Aim, dude. I just vividly remember sliding, fearing for my life, and seeing a bunch of like cotton coming out from behind me. And then you gotta like walk home with the hole in your pants, and your friend's like, are you okay? And you're trying not to cry. Classic. I was just like, yeah, like, it's fine. I went down the hill. Did you guys see that? He walks home like fucking sobbing. has to walk home in my socks, like.
He gets soused. He gets angry.
Just stupid shit like that when you're a kid. I also thought a construction worker was gonna murder me one time because They were like doing construction around our house, and we were hiding around like the
Whoa there, Roach.
wood piles or something. And then one of them got really mad and was like, "I'm gonna find you when I find you. I swear to God." And I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna get fucking murdered." Kids these days won't experience the fear of rollerblading and their pants exploding and a grown man chasing you into a woodpile. Maybe they would experience that one, actually. I shouldn't speak too soon. I'm just in a straight up graveyard, huh? I loved rollerblading though. I don't think you could do that these days. Maybe if you were in a good neighborhood. Y'all got beef with me?
What do you want?
Want to talk to the Peller?
Too late. We've got dibs on a chat with him. A long one.
Oh no, my delusion level's too low.
What do you want from him?
To give him what he deserves.
And that is?
He done conjured alcheries. Said something evil had made its nest in Edric's bowels. Told Edric to eat rowan berries. Lots of them.
Ever since Edric's lived in the outhouse. And he's got hardened pustules all over him.
Just so happens I need the Peller alive. So if you agree to leave him alone, for good, I'm willing to tell you how to help Edric.
Who the hell do you think you are?
A witcher.
A witcher? Hear that, boys? Either Velen's got a bumper crop
You'd think
of
they'd be able to tell by looking at me.
Who cut down
It's
our
always
boys
crazy
at
to
the
be like,
crossroads.
"Witcher?"
Not
Oh,
your
you
lucky
bastards.
day.
Alright.
Stand still, damn it!
How about you stand still? And get burned, it idiots. Okay. One at a time. Oh, you're ganging up on me. Okay, one at a time. Hit this guy first. Does he have a gun?
How long you gonna make me wait?
Oh, that guy shit his pants! They're so stinky. Okay, these guys with their crossbows make me so mad. Go. Okay, you next.
Gotta wonder about a man who could get Edric's friends all worked up.
Oh my. Bye-bye. He is so extra. Like, Daryl, you could just literally stab them, but you gotta cut him in half. Such a drama queen. Oops. Ooh, blue discus. Sir? Knock knock?
Hey, anybody home?
Hey, anybody home?
Open up, it's safe now.
Devils. Who do they bring? What seek ye?
I need your help.
Oh, a man. Nay, a wolf. Grey, though not old. 'Tis he
Oh
the
my
Peller
goodness,
awaits.
look at his drip. He got some chicken feet. Oh, I'm hydrating. I have hydrated.
You were expecting me.
Aye, as the bones declared I should. They shall come whose stench is rape and death, but the wolf shall disperse them, the white wolf. And thus he comes. Omens never lie.
I need your help, sir.
Recognize this? Made of spruce wood, strong smell of juniper, designed to protect someone.
Freshly cut spruce sprinkled with goat's blood, then tempered with an incense of earth, smoke, and juniper. For Anna, to protect her.
You made it?
You make the amulet?
Aye, sure 'twas the Peller. After the way of his forefathers, over still water in the light of a full moon. Proper as amulets go. It protected well. Should never have taken it
She's
off.
a werewolf. They're both werewolves. One of them's a werewolf.
So, designed to protect her. From what?
Oh, the besieged she was, evil all around, wanting to possess her. Old magic, born of oblivion, from dark sources emerged.
Old magic? Can you be more specific?
'Tis not for mouth speech, nor for the touch. A small protective charm, not a thing more a Pella could do.
Anna and her daughter are missing. Know where they are?
Nay. Pella don't know. But the spirits could know. The Pella will augur, the spirits ask.
Spirits? Great. Fine with me. Long as I know where to look, where to find them.
Lost, must be found. Princess! None better than Princess for finding things.
Who's princess?
Which princess?
Creature? Luna?
Princess, my goat. She's fled.
Those men must have scared her off. Can we get back to the auguring?
Without the goat, impossible. No goat, won't work.
And my cat's just around my feet. Huh? Sure, I'll find your goat.
Will you help me if I bring the goat back?
Princess, where have you got to, girl?
Fine. I'll get your goat.
The bell. The little bell's ringing. She loves it. Ring, ring, and she will follow. But
Ring.
But beware of wild strawberries. Raspberries, too.
Yeah, treacherous as beasts go. I always keep an eye out for them.
Huh? Mouse 5. Bruh. What is Mouse 5? Oh? Yeesh. Yeah, there's the bell. I'm gonna save because I don't trust this game anymore after it crashed that one time. Princess! Princess! Princess, come home! A thong? What the fuck? That's a flip-flop. I guess people, there's certain places they call it a thong, right? Okay, where's Princess at? Princess! Ring ring! Princess! Crap.
Let's dance.
Why are they green? Oh, it's just a light. Oh, I'm low. I should have meditated. I was like, I'm forgetting something. Don't kill me, please! Yeah, you got fucked up. Come here. Oh. Get him, Geralt. Alright, now I'm gonna meditate in the forest. Meditate. Nice. Princess. Princess. Maybe we start from the edges and then we make our way around. Oh, Princess! Come here.
Come on, let's go see the Peller.
This way. Let's go. Princess. This way. I already got them.
Should have guessed as much.
Oh wait,
What's a witcher compared to a
strawberries.
patch of wild strawberries?
What?
Come on, damn it.
Oh, she went for the strawberries, didn't she? I fucked up. No, this way. Princess.
Do I really have to keep ringing this bell for you to follow?
Ignore the strawberries.
Take
Come
you
on,
back to the
Princess.
Peller.
This way.
Misses you something awful.
Oh, not this way. Not this way, Princess. Not this way. This way. Go back.
Bear. Bear!
Where?
Run,
Bear!
stupid piece
Bear!
of shit. Where the hell you go?
Geralt! Shit! Oh! Oh, Lord! Go eat some strawberries. Princess, go eat some strawberries. I'll be over in a second. Get him, Geralt. Where is she? Princess!
Do I really have to keep ringing this bell for you to follow?
Come on, ignore the strawberries. I'm grabbing them, I'm taking them. They're mine now. This way. Come on, princess. Keep coming. Good. Come on. If I brought her back to be slaughtered, I'm going to be so upset. Let me just say that right now. Oh, I lost her. Come on, princess. Sir, I brought your princess.
Nowhere in sight. Nowhere to be princess. Flee not from the Pella, for there are wolves about.
Here's your princess.
Goat of mine, dearest, sweetest goat.
Baby. Aww. Squitches. Girl's like, what the fuck am I doing right now? Will you help me now?
Happy for you, but I'm kinda in a hurry. Anna and Tamara, they might be in danger.
The White Wolf helped the Pella, and so the Pella shall help him. Blood. We need blood. A living being.
If you slaughter that goat that I literally just saved, I'm going to be so mad.
Be right back.
We're chilling. Princess is good. Oh shit, alright!
Will this do?
Oh my god, that's a huge rat! No! No! Oh, he's so cute. Leave him alone.
They are not here. They have gone. Blood. I see blood.
Whose?
No Anna. No Tamara. Just the child. A child that lives not, yet did not die.
Is it the child Siri saved?
It's over? Is that
Oh.
it? That is it.
Spirits had nothing more to say? Like where they went or where they are now?
You came for an augury, and augur I did. They're gone. The child remains.
Is the girl the werewolf? Did she eat them?
Mentioned a child. Whose?
Why, Anna's.
Anna was pregnant?
She was. And she miscarried.
Baron didn't mention it.
Afraid, perhaps. Or ashamed, or forgetful. Or perhaps he had no wish to remember.
Whoa, stop yawning.
Anna tell you all this? Did she come here after it happened?
Nay, not Anna. 'Twas the omens told me.
Twas the omens.
So I can be sure it's true.
The omens need not your faith to be true. It is you who needs the omens to lead you to truth.
In my own pill, one sec. You want to ish. Girl, just don't send. Yeah, does he have...
The Baron have
Did they
anything to do with his wife's
Wait,
miscarriage?
did they actually miscarriage?
Foul-tempered he is, and he's a fondness for hooch.
No doubt makes his temper even fouler. Did he abuse his family? Anna came to you, you must have noticed something.
The Pella's old, near blind. But Princess came and licked her hand.
So what?
She's a wise beast. Only comes to those who suffer.
Oh my goodness.
What happened to the child?
In a grave thrown, without rite or ceremony, it awoke. Now it wanders, it seeks vengeance.
A botchling.
White wolf, wise wolf, catch the botchling. The botchling will help lead the wolf to the loved ones.
Botchlings suck the blood of pregnant women and eat their fetuses. They don't help.
'Tis a being cursed, and witches lift curses. If the white wolf can't lift it, he should bring me its blood. Blood will always find kindred blood.
Why do you want its blood?
Blood, blood, blood.
Blood,
It
blood,
binds
blood,
men
blood.
for all ages, the living and the dead.
Sure, but what do you want to do with it?
At times, a century is too short for two brothers to reconcile. One dies before things are set right. The other then brings his blood to the Pella.
And what does the Peller do?
He awaits Forefather's Eve. He mixes the blood with milk, herbs, and hen's feet. He drinks to reconcile the dead with the living. There shall be no Forefather's Eve this year. But we'll find a way, all the same.
How can I lift the curse?
Heard of one witcher who lifted a botchling's curse. Never tried it myself, though. I know you need to bury it under the threshold.
And give it a name. Perform the Aim Roin.
The ritual of naming? That's an elven custom.
Human, elven, dwarven, ancient. Spirits have no race. They honor not its meaning. Win a spirit's favor, and the spirit shall aid you. Ask, and it will answer. Seek, and it will show you the way.
I hear you right. You mentioned Forefather's Eve? Pretty old custom. Thought it had died out.
Death lurks in every bog and puddle round here. Folk know they could die, their earthly matters unresolved. Then they require help, or they'll not know peace. Forefather's Eve must be performed. Light the tallow candles to lead them through the dark. Call them by name, appease their regrets. Only then may they depart in peace.
Whatever I do, I gotta find the botchling first.
Is there just a little, like,
near
little
the grave
baby
that
creature
lies
running
empty.
around right now?
If what you say is true,
Yeah.
the Baron ought to know where that grave is.
Oh, excuse me? Bro ran into me. You caught a nugget. A whole ass nugget. Fish. I almost wrote fuck, I don't know why. What I get. Oh! I was too busy fishing, almost ran off a cliff. Aw, bugged garp. I got a garp. Buzzing freaks me out. I want to collect all the strawberries and raspberries that were back here now. Now that the goat can't eat them all. Strawberries! Fine, where are the strawberries? Yummy. Blueberries, anything. Oh, 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 oh. I didn't even notice his corpse here. I bet there's something in here if I go in here. Surely there's not another bear. Why is there music kicking in? Ooh, rune. Creatures? Oh, wait, what's over here? Nice. Nothing else to loot, right? Jump, Geralt. I like the loot. Yeah, she's just taking a nap. Oh, there's another person. Well, I fucked that bear up, so rest in peace. I wanted more strawberries, but I guess I'm not gonna like run around looking for all of them right now. Ooh, it's over here. Yaw! Ooh, okay, one sec. Ooh, that's not a dog. That's something else. There we go. Easy. Loot. Yummy. Nice. Alright. Roach. Oh, wait. Plants. Alright, Roach. They all sleepy. I just put him to bed. Actually, you know what, Roach? Give me a second. Let me meditate for like an hour. Oh. Now we're chilling. Wait. Probably be using these, huh? Hee hee, ha ha ha. See, what do we got? General. Ooh, pretty good. Vitality, liner. This the armor. Yeah, that one, please. What do I have right now? 50 vitality, 50 vitality, 50 vitality. This here. I'm assuming, yeah, I get more slots while I level up. That makes sense. I'm gonna save them for now. I don't want to use them all and then I'm not even able to use them.
Come on.
Oh my goodness gracious! Look at all these spots. Okay, I'm here. We did the cave. Do not need alchemy supplies. Quests. Let's look at the quests. Botchlings, cursed ones, Ew! They're literally just little babies? Lambert, what an interesting way to describe them. This is probably one of the worst creatures I have yet to read about. It's very sad and also very cursed oil. Cursed oil. You guys, seriously? I have a feeling that I should go look at the alchemy stuff right quick.
That's it, Roach.
White Wolf, wise.
Show me your wares.
Could use a few.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay, runes. $400. Aether, white gold, dwarven spirit, north wind. I guess I don't have the recipe for the oil. Maybe there's somewhere in particular that I can find it. Let me make a note of it. No. First oil. Finds. I wish my middle mouse button worked. Description size. Whatever. Ew. Water hags. Yeah, I'll have to check some vendors. It's just so hard because I only have so much money. I think I just need to do more, like a few more side quests to get some more money and like experience, rather than like do all the story quests. Just at least a few, you know? Sorry, didn't mean to run into you.
And whosoever finds the Baron's daughter will not go unrewarded.
Hello.
Greetings. Salutations. Whither do you come from?
Hard to say.
As have I.
What are you offering?
Take a peek.
You're offering shit. Farewell.
Farewell.
We'll meet again. I know.
What about you, sir?
Buy in or just.
What are you offering?
Show me what you've got on offer.
I don't want to like necessarily sell any of this because that's pretty good. Yeah, but I can also like dismantle it for crafting stuff, so I'm like scared to dismantle something and then need it later. I'm gonna do this one because money is nice. Farewell. Because I know it'll be the moment I need it most will be when I have no materials to make the stuff I need.
Come on, Jens, double quick, fast as farts.
Yep.
Go at it.
Yeah?
I didn't do anything.
Politicians.
Yeah. Would you craft something for me? -10. Oh. Bro, that's so expensive. You got me fucked up. Alright. That's something I'll do next time. Farewell.
So long.
Alright. I think I'm gonna save there and we're gonna call it for tonight. Because I gotta wake up early. Alright, I will see you guys maybe sometime on the weekend, and if not, I will see you on next Thursday. Let's fish. One more fish. One more fish before we go. You guys can fish in the ending screen too, but I'm waiting my turn patiently. Perch. He's rotating. Let's close this. Wait. Before I close it, I am like, there we go. Let me save. Okay, it is saved. And I'll just close it while we fish. Oh. Oh. All right. Thank you for coming, everyone. I really appreciate it. And I will see you next time. If it's weekend spooky game, if not, then Witcher. So, bye-bye. Bye. Thank you for coming. Bye. Bye. What?